We're about 15 hours away from this classic coastal storm from making a run towards Connecticut. I've got the first alert details on what you can expect here in our state next.
A fire is forcing 75 Groton families out of their homes tonight. We're hearing from residents of this apartment building who watched their neighbors get rescued.
Also, runners hit the streets for the running of the 2025 Eversource Hartford Marathon. We'll have a look at the big race from the capital city next at 11.
Now on Channel 3 and streaming on WFSB+. This is Eyewitness News at 11.
Well, we begin tonight with a look at your weather. This is a late night look at our iCam high above New London. The calm, so to speak, before the storm. A clear evening tonight, but things will look a lot different this time tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everyone, in Eyewitness News at 11. I'm Tracey McCain. Heavy rain and wind will be moving in tomorrow night and into Monday. Scott Haney joins us now. So, Scott, what can we expect from this storm?
Pretty big mess.
Yeah.
We're expecting rain, as you just mentioned, and wind, which could gust in excess of 45 miles an hour. So that could do some damage, bring down some trees, create some power outages in the state, particularly along the shoreline where there is a wind advisory now up in effect. I'll get to that in just a second. But first and foremost, Sunday afternoon looks like it's coming in a little bit earlier, according to Futurecast, tomorrow's weather today, which I'm going to show you in just a bit as well. But by 1, 2 o'clock, we're expecting rain to begin in the state. And then it'll rain through the night, getting particularly heavy into Monday. A coastal storm with rain and wind, that's going to have an impact on outdoor activities and, of course, traveling. There's the wind advisory I was just mentioning along the shoreline, gusts to 45 miles an hour. Plus, there could be some isolated power outages in the state, the result of this storm system, plus a coastal flood advisory up from a coastal flood watch about 3, 4 o'clock. This went over to a coastal flood advisory, one step higher. Sunday afternoon, Monday, it's 3 high tide cycles that we're going to be watching very carefully. And there's a storm warning out for portions of the Long Island Sound plus the Atlantic. So mariners, you want to take extra precaution. If you have to be out and about, you're going to be dealing with some pretty rough seas. So you might want to take this time period off. All right, let's take a look at the satellite and radar. We'll show you where the storm is right now, basically over the Delmarva Peninsula, the Virginias. It has been moving in our direction. You can see the outer bands of the storm system just approaching Long Island and Connecticut. Again, it's going to take another 12 to 15 hours for it to roll on in here. But when it does, it's going to be a doozy. And I'll have the full first alert forecast coming up a little bit later on in the broadcast. In the meantime, Tracy, back to you.
All right, want to remind everyone to have our First Alert weather app downloaded right now. You can scan the QR code on your screen. That way you can track any conditions and get customized push alerts sent right to your phone. Right, we're on top of breaking news in Groton right now. Dozens of families are without a home after a fire at the Groton Towers apartment. Fire officials tell us multiple people were rescued and 4 were brought to the hospital. Your reporter Katie Cohen is live at the scene to tell us more. Katie, what do you know?
Tracy, all the people who live in this building right here of the Groton Towers apartments are displaced. There are 75 units here. The residents who live in those units are in shelters or hotels right now. Before they left, we talked to many of them who told us they saw flames bursting out of this building tonight.
It was just pitch black smoke coming out, and you could hear the flames going, and eventually you could even see it start shooting out stuff from inside the building.
Mally Rodriguez was inside her apartment in the Groton Towers just before 5 when she heard the fire alarms go off, then captured this video once she got outside. She watched as firefighters rescued around a dozen people from their apartments. 4 of them were brought to the hospital. Many animals were rescued too.
There was a lot of animals that were out on the balconies that these wonderful, men and women were able to get out.
Some of those animals did not survive.
It was hard to watch.
Fire officials tell us the fire started in a 3rd-floor apartment and was contained to 2 units. It was a 3rd alarm fire, bringing in crews from surrounding towns, even from Rhode Island.
Very labor intensive, and the guys did a great job making an aggressive attack, and could have been a lot worse.
Many active military members live here. They, along with their neighbors, are being forced to stay in shelters or hotels and don't know when they'll be able to come back.
It kind of sucks. I would rather be home right now.
Investigators are still here tonight working to find out what caused the fire, and the Red Cross is working with all those families who were displaced. Your reporter live in Groton, Katie Cohen, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Katie, thank you. The New Britain community continues to mourn tonight after a 12-year-old girl's remains were found outside an abandoned house on Clark Street. That home is now the site of a growing memorial after multiple vigils this week. Earlier this evening, family and friends wore shirts with Jacqueline Torres's face on them. Many others brought balloons to release. People from all across the state came to tonight's vigil to pay their respects.
It's important as a community to come together and just, appreciate the little things, because you don't know when your last day could really be. So it's just really important for everybody to just come gather around.
Well, family members believe the little girl was killed, but the police investigation into her death is ongoing. An investigation right now in Middletown tonight after a man drove a car into the Connecticut River and died. That victim was identified as a 51-year-old man from Stamford. Police say he drove into the river just off Harbor Drive. Crews were able to pull the vehicle from the water, but again, we learned that man has died. No word yet on what caused the accident. In Middlefield tonight, police say a car plunged into a pond, and now they're trying to find out why. Late last night, crews were called to Black Pond after reports of a car in the water. No one was located inside the car. Make sure you call police in Middlefield if you have any information. Officials in New Milford are working to learn what caused a small plane to crash at Candlelight Farms Airport. Police tell us it happened shortly before 8 last night. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Both the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board are now investigating. Up next, the investigation into a massive explosion in Tennessee continues. What officials are saying about the search for survivors tonight. Welcome back. Today, families of more than a dozen workers missing after the explosion that destroyed an explosives plant in Hickman County, Tennessee, heard the news they didn't want to hear. Your reporter Nicole Valdez has the latest.
At some point in time, we've got to rip off the Band-Aid.
Sheriff Chris Davis choked back tears, confirming the worst.
More than 300 people have been through almost every square inch of this facility, and at this time we've recovered no survivors.
The blast happened Friday morning at this military explosives plant. Today, officials warned small controlled explosions would be needed to stabilize the structure. An ambulance and medical helicopter standing by as a precaution for investigators working near the site. These grim images show what the building looked like before and after the blast, heard more than 15 miles away. Wendell Stinson is the CEO of the company Accurate Energetic Systems. He shared this message Friday.
Our hearts are broken for the families and for the ones, our loved ones that lost their lives, and please pray.
Late this afternoon, neighbors, friends, and families met at this nearby church, the small Tennessee town grieving their loss. The ATF now leading the investigation.
All of our bomb techs, our explosive specialists, are up there very thoroughly, methodically trying to make safe the area, safe as possible for every law enforcement up there, so we can go ahead and make sure we do that search and recovery efforts in the safest manner as possible.
And this church is one of several places this community has gathered to pray and heal after this tragic explosion. Nicole Valdez, CBS News, McEwen, Tennessee.
Well, President Trump is headed to the Middle East on Sunday to mark the ceasefire his team helped to broker between Israel and Hamas. That could bring an end to a 2-year-long conflict that began with the October 7th attacks in 2023. Thousands of Gaza residents who fled their homes to safer areas during the conflict have returned, many of which have been reduced to rubble. Hostages' family members anxiously await their loved ones' return. President Trump is also expected to deliver an address to Israel's parliament. Former President Joe Biden has started radiation therapy as part of his treatment for prostate cancer. Earlier this spring, Biden announced he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that spread to his bones. Shortly after being diagnosed, he said he started a pill regimen to treat the cancer. Biden also underwent an operation to remove skin cancer lesions last month. Straight ahead tonight, people in one Connecticut town helping to give back to a local officer battling stage 4 cancer. How they're helping to make things a little easier. But first, let's step outside for a live look at our iCam in Waterbury. A great evening tonight. There are changes happening this time tomorrow. So we'll get an update with meteorologist Scot Haney after this break. All new tonight, people in the town of Simsbury came out to help support a local animal control officer battling stage 4 cancer. This was the scene on Iron Horse Boulevard earlier this morning as town officials hosted a special car show. It featured new and classic cars, as well as music, crafts, and food. All proceeds from the event go to Simsbury Animal Control Officer Debbie Clark.
It's overwhelming. I'm humbled. Because being a first responder, being in law enforcement, fire department, we're always the one going into helping others. So now you guys, everybody's helping me, and I'm grateful.
And they're grateful to her as well. Officials say Debbie has dedicated her life to public service and helping both people and animals.
Awesome. Really awesome story.
Like that.
Yeah, it's really good. It makes me feel good. All right, first alert live radar dry. There's no weather woes tonight, but tomorrow in the afternoon and through the evening, it's really going to ramp up this coastal storm, and it's going to bring rain and it's going to bring wind. So get ready. Outdoor activities and traveling all going to prove to be a little problematic during this time period. All right, coastal flood advisory in effect for the immediate shoreline. You know, all of the towns included along 95. So if you live in a normally flood-prone area of the shoreline, you want to make sure you move things to higher ground and secure any loose objects. There is a wind advisory also in effect for the immediate shoreline as well. Storm warning, as we discussed at the top of the show. Mariners, please be careful. If you can avoid being out in the open waters of the Atlantic and even the Sound during the afternoon tomorrow through Monday, that might be a good idea. So let's break it down for you. Rain in the afternoon and evening. The wind is going to be ramping up tomorrow. Gusty windswept rains for you on Monday. That'll be the peak of the storm. Sunday night late through the Monday morning commute is going to prove to be. But you know what? It's a holiday, so that's some good news. And then the coastal storm departs on Tuesday. Let's take you out, satellite and radar, show you where the storm is right now. You can see it brewing out over the open waters of the Atlantic into the coastline of the Carolinas, the Virginias, through the Delmarva Peninsula, just approaching the Delmarva Peninsula. But as you can see right now, things are nice and calm. Look at how beautiful it is in Mystic right now. Look at how beautiful the skyline of Hartford is right now. So you'd never know that a storm was coming, but it is coming. Even by 10 o'clock, according to this latest run, the timing has gone back and forth and back and forth. Just know the storm is coming. 2 o'clock, we could be dealing with rain, moderate to heavy at midnight tomorrow night through the morning on Monday. This is 2 a.m. I'll be right here at work for you, getting you through the storm. So tune in Monday morning so we can get through it together. And then 9 o'clock, some scattered showers. And it looks like it does taper down in the afternoon. But at 9 p.m. Monday evening, there still can be some scattered showers into very early Tuesday morning. That's when the storm will really make a departure. So out the door this evening, midnight. Yeah, if you're going out and about, third shifters, you're going to be dealing with temperatures dropping into the 50s, which is not so bad. 44 is the typical overnight low. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you don't need to water the plants, that's for sure, and the allergy forecast is low. As we take a look at the temperatures, very comfortable. I was just outside and I didn't even need a jacket. We're in the upper 50s to near 60. And as you can see, the temperature differential, we're up anywhere from 1 to 10 to 11 degrees better than just 24 hours ago. So that's some good news as well. Dew points in the 50s, that's fairly comfortable, so we're good to go. And the winds anywhere from 3 to 12. No gusts out there right now, but those gusts will be with us. 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts plus, particularly along the shoreline. So let's watch it as it climbs on in. This is Sunday, again, afternoon through Sunday night into Monday. Just a big old mess this coastal storm is going to prove to be. So tonight, mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, the morning calm before the storm in the afternoon, and then windswept rains on Monday. Let's take a look at your overnight lows tonight. Again, not bad. Upper 40s, low 50s. Tomorrow's daytime highs in the upper 50s, lower 60s. Not as mild as it was today, but still okay, right? And then your 7-day forecast. First alert weather day is Sunday. First alert weather day Monday. Tuesday, things start to gradually improve. And then Wednesday, 68 degrees. What a great day it's going to be on Wednesday. Thursday, a big drop in temperature to 58, and then 61 on Friday, 62 on Saturday, with partly to mostly sunny skies. And that's checking your first alert forecast. Tracy, take it away.
All right, a nice clear day today. Channel 3 has been your station for the Eversource Hartford Marathon from start to finish. We were live from the course first thing this morning with a live camera at the finish line as well. Your reporter Anna Stansfield gives us a closer look at what makes this event so special every year.
It was a long morning for organizers and volunteers as they made the last-minute touches needed to get ready for race day, hours before sunrise.
We prepare all year for this, and today is, it's marathon day in Hartford.
As the sun rose, crowds of runners began filling the streets of the capital city, some with some pre-race jitters.
I am feeling nervous right now, but I'm ready to get it over with.
I'm really excited. Excited for the medal.
At 8 o'clock, it was time for runners to take their marks. And just like that, marathon and half-marathon runners hit the course. More than 10,000 people running throughout all of this year's races, a record number for the event's 32nd year.
There's so many people.
The crowds keeping all of those runners going along the way.
Coming to the Hartford Marathon is one of our favorite family activities in the fall. We come every year to cheer whether we have a runner or not, because what they do to accomplish this goal is just absolutely miraculous.
And speaking of miraculous, Killian McNamee from Connecticut was the first person to cross the finish line, wrapping up the 5K in under 15 minutes.
I always wanted to come back here and give it a shot, and I'm super happy that I can come back here and give it my best and win.
And once he completed the race, it was non-stop action at the finish line. Countless runners ringing the buzzer at the finish, now taking home a medal with a new feeling of pride.
I worked hard the last few months, and it was just so wonderful with everybody talking to each other, running, everybody involved in the same, event.
Your reporter in Hartford, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The UConn football team is currently enjoying its bye week. I'm diving into the first half of the Huskies season and breaking down all of today's Connecticut college football action. Plus, the highlights from the Hartford Wolfpack season opener are coming your way next in sports.
Now, Channel 3 Eyewitness Sports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Booth. We had a busy day of college football action, but let's talk about some hockey. The 2025 AHL season is officially underway, and the Hartford Wolfpack began their new campaign on the road against the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Penguins. In the first period, the Pack is applying pressure, and around the net right there, Trey Fix-Wolanski found the back of the net for the Pack, scoring their first goal of the season, putting Hartford up 1-0. It stayed that way until about halfway through the second, when the Penguins offense really started to get going. They scored one in this period here, and they scored another one in the third as well. That second one being the game-deciding goal. Hartford comes up short in this game in their season opener 2-1. The Pack's next game is their first home game of the season at People's Bank Arena this Friday against the Penguins once again. The puck drops at 7 o'clock. In recent years, the UConn football team has been moving in the right direction. With us being at about the halfway point of the season, the Huskies are enjoying their bye week with plans of finishing the season strong and maybe finding themselves in another bowl game for the third time in the last 4 years under head coach Jim Mora. With 6 games into the season, UConn is sitting at 4-2 with wins against CCSU, Ball State, Buffalo, and FIU. They're currently riding a 3-game winning streak, and while their defense has been solid so far this season, season, their offense has been leading the way by putting up some big numbers. They've scored 40-plus points 3 times, and they've eclipsed the 50-point mark twice. Part of the reason they've been so successful this season is because of their ability to make explosive plays while also doing a good job of taking care of the ball. And of all the impressive stats I'm going to be diving into momentarily, one of the most impressive ones might be the fact that UConn has only turned the ball over once through their first 6 games. Quarterback Joe Fagnano has not thrown an interception yet, and he found the end zone 12 times so far. 6 of those touchdowns went to star wide receiver Skylar Bell. Coming into this week, Bell ranked 6th in the nation in receiving yards with 562. He's tied for 3rd in receiving touchdowns with 6, and he is tied for 1st in catches with 48. When you combine Fagnano's ability to operate the offense at a high level with Bell's ability to seemingly get open on every play, and Cam Edwards, who's averaging 6 yards per carry and has 7 touchdowns on the ground so far this year, the Huskies have themselves a nice little 3-headed monster. We could be sitting here talking about the what-ifs and the maybes and all the hypotheticals, but it's not crazy to say that if it wasn't for those 2 heartbreaking overtime losses in back-to-back weeks against Syracuse and Delaware, the Huskies could be sitting undefeated at 6-0. UConn's next game is next Saturday on the road against Boston College, and as always, your Hall of Fame sports director Joe Zone will be there to break it all down for us. When it comes to today's action on the gridiron, Central was near Pittsburgh, had taken on Robert Morris. CCSU's Brady Olson got the scoring going in the first with this deep ball to Donovan Wadley. He ends up making that nice catch right there, making it 7-0. Later on in the quarter, the Blue Devils call on Elijah Howard, who had a $131 on the ground in this game, and he did the rest, scoring a nice touchdown right there. Central kept the hot hand in the second half, going on to win 24-12. In the Ivy, Yale had a wild finish on the road against Dartmouth. At one point in this game, Yale led 10-0, but Dartmouth scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth, putting all that pressure back on Yale. With 37 seconds to go, Dante Reno hit Graham Smith on that play right there. That should have been the game-winning touchdown. However, Yale missed the ensuing extra point, so now they only led by 2, opening the door for Dartmouth to drive down the field and kick a game-winning 51-yard field goal. Yale loses a tough one to Big Green, 17-16. Down in Fairfield, Sacred Heart was trying to get back on track after their loss to Central last week against Howard, and the Bison led this game 14-0 at one point, but the Pioneers scored 32 unanswered points, and they just kept on rolling. Mitchell Summers had himself a day, running for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sacred Heart improves to 5-2 on the season after a nice 18-point win, 32-14. Over in West Haven, we had a D1 versus D3 showdown between New Haven and Western Connecticut State. The Chargers left no doubt in this game, dominating from start to finish. This is New Haven's first season as a Division I program, and they showed everyone why today on that beautiful blue turf. From one football to another, the UConn men's soccer team was down in D.C. taking on number 14 Georgetown. In the 15th minute, Charlie Holmes gave the Huskies a 1-0 lead after a great feed by Max right there. Did a phenomenal job getting open and creating that play. But shortly after that, the Hoyas tied the match on a penalty kick, and then they added 3 more to their score late in the second half. So the Huskies came up short 4-1, falling to 2-2 in conference play. The Huskies women's soccer team was in Stores, and they were down 1-0 early, and then late in the second half after that goal right there, Chioma Okafor, who was a 2-time All-American for the Huskies, she had 2 goals in this game, including that one right there off the follow to help get them back in this game. They tied the game 2-2. It is a draw, and that's an important draw right there in conference play for the Huskies. Now, after a slow start in Big East play, the Huskies volleyball team is starting to get into a little bit of a groove. They were in Indy facing Butler, and they took care of business. Emma Workmeister led the way for UConn with 10 kills in this match, and UConn picks up their 7th 3-set sweep of the season. They are playing some good volleyball right now.
All right, out to the 7-day we go. We've got a storm headed in our direction. I think by Tuesday morning, we're going to finally start to see some tapering off of the showers, gradual clearing Tuesday after 2 first alerts, Sunday and Monday. And then Wednesday through Saturday look good. We just got to get there. Fluctuations in temperatures next week.
All right, big storm. Make sure you download the WFSB weather app so you can stay up to date with everything you need to know.
Yeah.
He'll be here too.
Yeah.
Have a great night, everybody.
Take care.